What's up, everybody? I'm the Bat Otter, and this is my final video of Volume 7 of Berserk, and the end, I believe it's the end, of the Conviction arc. Last video, last part, the tower turns into a representation of the God Hand because it was destroyed by explosions and those glob monsters, and Guts, in two very dramatic panels, sees the town being set on fire into the brand of sacrifice, and for the first time in a very long time in the series, he looks and he's portrayed as almost powerless, just as he was in the eclipse. And this, what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. This unwavering, unfaltering character that we've seen for the past few arcs, that is a machine of chaos that doesn't think twice about so many of the things that he does, into the carnage that he goes into. Within the hand, he's almost looks small and powerless, and the character himself is portrayed with some of the first bits of fear that we've seen out of the character in a very long time. So I think that all of that setup, like as I was saying, pays off really well. So as usual, Miura is very good at setting things up, paying them off, and we get some more parallel. This guy wants to save the town because he's an angel now. He's like, we're gonna burn the witch. They're erecting the statue to burn the witch. They're probably gonna weigh her against the duck, because if the duck is lighter than water, and yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. And Guts, again, standing on the very top of the tower, he can't do anything about it, and he gets swarmed by the little glob monsters. They turn into depictions of the God Hand. They turn into the big brain guy, the fat man, Silat, however you say her name, into this really gross rendition of them, right? Now, last time he saw them, he saw Griffith for the first time. He went absolute bananas. So this time, we get that visceral, raw rage out of Guts in these panels here, but they're not real. So it was kind of wasted energy. We get some more echoes of Skull Knight as it goes on. Poor demon baby. He's found by the Eggman, and the Eggman says, "Here, I'm at the end of my ropes too. I'll eat you, and we can die together." And the egg hatches. This is foreshadowing, guys. Casca's up at the stake. Guts is fighting for his life up in those glob monsters. But fortunately, now that he has a team, now that he's built these relationships with some of these characters, and now that some of these other characters are seeing that the good guys are actually kind of the bad guys, Casca is saved by this kid. Isidro, that's his name. So she's saved by Isidro. Guts is going absolutely crazy up fighting the glob monsters, until finally he breaks out. It's acid blood all over him. And we get another heroic-esque panel of him kind of saving the day at the last second. And he says, maybe you weren't a shadow on the water. And it makes for this very dramatic ending to this chapter here. He's on fire. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And the next chapter starts off with a bang. He jams the Dragon Slayer right through the big man. Why did my voice shake there? And they're coming in hot. You can almost hear the World War II airplane noises as they're crashing into the ground, and they're just slamming into it, and he's using the guy as a human sled. The people see the demon defeated him, and we get another good illustration of Guts looking monstrous. And Guts gets in for the beating of his life. Lots of good illustrations of Guts. It's always great, right? What more can you say about those? I could break down the techniques day and night. Miura does a lot of experimentation in this chapter. This volume he uses a lot more smoke, haze, fog, stuff like that. Lots more blood as well. He does a lot of things different that really enhance the story. He always knows exactly which techniques to utilize and when, in order to kind of enhance the storytelling. This guy ends up joining our group. Luca is still out in the water. Eventually, the coward falls over, and Guts has to face this big guy, who embodies the meme. Look at how hard I can cry because Guts killed the rest of his people. He's like, that must mean that my 4 disciples have been called to heaven. And he says, look at how hard I can cry, and starts crying blood. So big monster that Guts can't generally chop through. He avoids the punch, but look, his sword is stuck. His sword is stuck. And he gets the 1,000 God punch attack. This good old Azan is being good old Azan. This guy's a cool character. That's all he gets. This guy uses his God breath, but he ends up killing his own guys. Because apparently Guts is fireproof now. And he says, you quit pushing your God on me. And the things that Guts says about God and holiness and this, you just know that it contributed to years and years and years of Reddit atheists being like, preach another stupid sermon. Like, you could just feel those guys reading this and being, projecting themselves onto Guts. It's like, that's, it's funny. But in Guts' case, it works because, you know, he's kind of seen what deities have to offer, and it's not a lot of fun. So as Guts' sword is about to be broken, his own technique is used against him. He bites the sword. Guts is like, oh no. He just throws a knife into his eye and takes the sword out. But we get some more character changes. Again, Guts stands on something now. Not just, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to torture you. He stands on... I want to get to the panel because I really like it. This one here. He says, like, what have you done? You mean to oppose my holy war to the bitter end? And he says, if you want to light a fire so bad, why not use your own head as tribute? He's tired. Look at that. He'd usually be raged out by now. But instead he's tired and determined. He says, I won't let you touch that woman ever again. And you see Casca in the background. Kind of, it seems like she kind of understands that Guts is going through all this to protect her. Which is really nice to see those two characters kind of bond and reunite that way after everything that's happened to them. And everything that's happened to Guts as well. How much he's changed. You get some more carnage on the ground. And you get for this shot. If you look up Conviction on Google Images, this is one of the first shots that you get. And what a shot it is. You have the glob monsters behind this big guy. You have Guts kind of with the people. That's probably a little intentional, but I just like the way that it's drawn out. It's a great shot. It's on a single platform, and he's kind of the immovable object versus the unstoppable force, right? He's fighting to take this guy out, and the Dragon Slayer almost looks small in comparison to this guy. So he ends up figuring out that the weak spot on him is actually his chest, where he put the Bible. So he makes one stab at that as he's getting beaten half to death. I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's sometimes all I can say with some of these is look at this. He's about to use the fire breath until he gets stabbed in the chest. And that's never any fun. If you guys have ever been stabbed in the chest before. We get some more rage-induced Guts. He starts chopping him up. Taking every opportunity he can to take a shot at this guy. Some more incredible panel. You guys see what I mean? How you can kind of get burnt out on this, where everything is just so good that it's not even good anymore. Until he does this really cool maneuver. He jams the sword straight through his chest and catapults him over his shoulder. After fighting all night, he finally gets to reunite with Casca in this very nice, warm, like an oven. You can tell that he's tired. He hugs her. It's nice. There's Puck. But, you know, there are kind of demons coming after them, right? And you kind of have to adjust that. So Guts figures out that it's fire and light that takes it. Luca saves this girl despite everything that they've been through. Just showing more of the determination she has as character. Once again, there's a kind of parallel between Luca doing everything that she can to save her girls and Guts doing everything he can to save Casca. You know, kind of that parallel look. That admirable quality, that almost heroic quality that they have. And this panel here, with Guts using the flame to stoke the evil, has Lady Farnese talking about it. He stands without retreating in the midst of this overwhelming nightmare. The one and only thing that is certain. And he's so composed, right? Compared to everybody else. He's been through this 1,000 times. This is his millionth time fighting demons all night again. This is what he does for a living, right? If he doesn't do this, he'd be dead by now. So it's real cool to see Guts in that different light, to see him in that more heroic light, to see this character even overcome herself. She says, "I'm scared, but it means I want to live." This entire arc is so well paced with the way that the characters grow kind of in tandem with each other and learn more about themselves, and you kind of start rooting differently for the characters as well. It's a very well put together arc, all based upon a very real premise, right? Like the actual Inquisitions. If you got a glimpse of some of those torture methods in the last couple videos, you'll see, I forgot what they called it, but the wooden donkey, right? Where it's a wooden kind of triangular prism, right? That they tie ropes around you and you have to sit on it bare naked. You guys can imagine that, right? I'm obviously not going to show it here. But it's gross, it's disgusting, and you never really see those torture methods happen. You just see the thing, but it's really interesting that Miura chose to illustrate some of those very specific torture devices that you see on those top 10 videos on the internet all the time. And would you believe it? Seeing it depicted even in this media, it's disturbing, it's gross, but it's real, right? That's kind of what adds to the unsettling nature of the entire thing, is that it's not fiction, some of it. The way that they're doing it in the name of being holy and stuff like that, it is pretty gross, right? So the tower collapses, finally, as day breaks and the monsters overwhelm it. This clears everything up. The three girls, that were left out in the outskirts of the town see the entire tower collapse. There's clouds everywhere. But this is what I was saying earlier. By the time the arc is over, notice how there's not cross-hatched lines everywhere. Notice how it's not a bunch of gray tones anymore. The sky is clear. It's a new kind of dawn, right? The Luca reunites with her. Everybody's okay in the end. But just whenever you thought you have time to breathe, they get encountered by these guys, the Easterners, right? Who have been tracking Guts since the beginning. Him, Serpico, Azan, and the Knight square off with him until, like I said, it's one thing after another by now. Tower collapses. These guys come by. Azan is still alive. Serpico starts fighting. Guts starts fighting. They get Casca. No, there's more. There's more. We get Zod. He comes in. He starts tearing people up. And just in case that wasn't enough, who do we find? And what does the narration say? We get good old Griffith. Good old, I'll sacrifice my friends to the depths of hell so that way I can have a kingdom. Whatever that means, Griffith. It's as though everybody forgot to breathe. And everybody's witnessing it. And we're going to see a cool change again. Like I've been saying this whole time. Everybody notices that Guts is reacting differently to it. But even Zod is now at the will of Griffith. And Guts goes into his primal rage. And it's broken up in this 4-panel rhythm. Rhythm is so important, by the way, whenever it comes to illustrating panels. He's moving forward, but suddenly it all fades away. Because he hears Casca standing behind him, reaching out for him. His little cloak is around her. He just spent this entire arc saving her. It's a nice shot. It's a nice little shot. That emotional aspect to the characters adds so much to the story and makes it work so much better than if it was just, I want to be the best. Like, you know, everybody wants to be the best. Shut up. So like I said, this story has a lot of implications for the rest of the thing to come. Casca starts going over to Griffith, probably in a way recognizing him, but Guts is like, no, we gotta go. The rest of the group leaves, sneaks under the army, some more incredible shots, I'm assuming, of things to come, and they all go away. Isidro is like, wait, I wanted to take with, Guts owes me, right? But then they see in the background, they're like, what's that, right? And there's Guts on a horse chopping people up. It's almost like the ending of a sitcom. Like, that Guts, right? Things kind of return to normalcy. Everybody says, this is the lesson I learned. And it's like, what? He's just won against that large army. And Luca, kind of understanding him a bit better by now, says, don't worry. If the horseman's him, I'm sure he'll do whatever it takes to protect the lane. And kind of relating to that, right? Like I said, there's that little parallel that her and Guts are doing anything they can to protect the people that they care about, whether that means putting themselves in harm's way or not, but they're doing it without a second thought. Like whenever Luca let go to save those people, I mean, it's just it's that admirable quality, that loyalty, that respect, and that determination to take care of people. It's that universally admired quality, even whenever you're putting yourself in harm's way. So to learn some, Isidro decides that he's going to follow Guts. These guys are going to go set up a shop, live happily ever after. Same with her and Yochim. And then Farnese says, you know what, I'm going to follow Guts too. I think he was sent to me by God. And that's the end of the arc. And I couldn't have enjoyed it more. That girl learns how to live and appreciate life, right? With a new buddy. She's like, oh, that troublesome girl. And Skull Knight's like, the shape of the world began to crumble. Like, it really kills the mood. But it was a nice arc. What do you guys think? You think I really enjoyed it, especially that latter half. The fights, the change in Guts' character, the growth that he has as a character, everything about it, I really enjoyed. The parallels to the Eclipse, I think it all worked out well, you know, because sometimes rehashing a previous part in a story can be cheap. But, I mean, like I said, that's what I've been saying since day one. Miura takes a lot of concepts and ideas that have been done to death, a lot of cliches, you know, stuff like that. But he's able to put a good spin on them, write a good story with them, write very compelling characters with them. And I think that the fact that you're getting that all the way into volume 7, I mean, thousands and thousands of pages into the story, and you're still getting that consistent ability to take something that's kind of generic, played out, overdone, and do it in a light that works and is still entertaining up until that point, is just another testament to Miura as an artist and writer. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Berserk Conviction. I know I got a little bit carried away at some points or another. These are 3 practically 20-minute videos, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I'll be picking Berserk back up probably later this year, maybe next year. Depends on how long it takes for me to get back into it. But yeah, that's going to be the last Berserk video for a while. I have some JoJo videos planned out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think of these arcs series moving forward. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.